All right, so today we're diving into Simo's world. You guys wanted to know what happened in Budapest?
Absolutely.
And we're going to be breaking down his YouTube videos.
Yes.
We're going to be looking for those hidden messages,
Yeah.
those maybe unintentional messages that he's sending,
Hmm.
and try and understand what he's really like
Right.
as a person through these videos.
Yeah. So, just to be clear for everybody, these are in Italian, right? But we've got you covered. We have translations.
That's the transcripts.
Yeah. You're not going to miss any of the juicy stuff. So, one thing that I found really interesting watching these videos
Okay.
is that it's not just a travel vlog, right?
yeah.
He's really crafting a narrative. He's
Yeah.
building these personas. I mean, maybe not even intentionally, but he's building these personas.
Yeah, it's almost like a reality show in a way.
Yeah, with like a Budapest backdrop,
Right.
which is really interesting. So let's talk about the crew first.
Yeah.
So we've got Simo, obviously. Right.
Our main guy.
Mm-hmm.
Very energetic, very playful. But I'm also kind of getting this vibe that he's a little bit,
Anxious, a little bit uptight.
uptight
Yeah.
about like how everything looks like very,
Remember at the beginning when he was worried about Vale making the car dirty?
oh yeah.
I mean, that tells you everything you need to know.
Right, from the get-go. He wants everything to be perfect,
Mm-hmm.
or at least to appear perfect on camera.
Mm.
Then we have David, his like frequent travel companion,
Yeah.
who he describes as a daredevil. But I wonder how much of that is
Playing it up for the camera.
like for the vlog, like
Yeah.
to make things more interesting.
Yeah.
Remember that scene where they snuck into that place?
Oh, yeah, where they weren't supposed to be.
Yeah,
Classic YouTube bait right there.
totally.
Yeah.
And he knows what gets views. So then there's Vale,
Oh, Vale.
the wild card, the one who's always running late.
Always causing a stir.
But, I think there's more to Vale than just being a funny character.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think his lateness is a source of tension,
Oh, totally. We see Simo get more and more frustrated with him as the trip goes on.
Yeah.
It just adds like another layer to their dynamic.
It's like watching a sitcom unfold in real time,
Totally.
right? And then we can't forget Angelica. She's along for the ride.
Yeah, she's a little bit more laid back,
Yeah.
I think, than the other guys.
Yeah, she brings a different energy,
Mm-hmm.
which is good.
Yeah.
So we've got the players. Now let's jump into the action.
Yeah. Let's go.
So their Budapest adventure begins with a road trip.
Mhm.
And right off the bat, we see that classic train luggage Tetris struggle.
Oh, yeah. Everyone knows that struggle.
Anyone who's traveled with overstuffed bags.
You can't fit anything else in.
There's exactly what we're talking about. And then they make a pit stop in Vienna.
Oh.
And what does Vale do?
I bet he goes to the bathroom.
He's in the bathroom, of course. Setting the stage for this running gag that plays out throughout the entire trip.
Right.
I mean, was it a coincidence? Or did Simo plan that,
That's a good question.
right, to establish Vale's character early on?
Yeah, like foreshadowing.
So-
Yeah. And then they finally arrive in Budapest, and Simo's immediately worried about the hotel that Vale booked.
Of course.
Right. Just like, oh my God, this is going to be gross. Which again plays into his persona.
Yeah.
Like he's the fussy one. He wants everything to be perfect.
Right. And then they go on a kebab quest.
Yes.
Who doesn't love a good kebab?
After a long journey,
It's essential.
it's essential.
Mm.
So they're immersing themselves in the local culture through their stomachs.
Exactly.
They see the synagogue, they explore Fashion Street, they wander along the banks of the Danube,
You're nice.
but then they also sneak into a place they probably shouldn't be.
They do like to push the boundaries a little bit.
A little bit. A little bit of rebellion, which, adds a little bit of spice to the video.
Add a bit of danger.
But it also makes you wonder, is he encouraging this behavior?
Right.
Like, is it responsible
That's a good question.
to be showing this to his viewers? And then, to top it all off, they end the day with dinner
Mm.
and a venture into a potentially shady part of town.
Wow.
Which, I mean, come on, Simo.
Yeah.
Why?
He's trying to show all sides of Budapest, I guess.
I guess. So it's day one.
Yeah.
What stands out to you so far?
Well, I think Simo is a lot more complex than he appears on the surface.
Yeah.
Hmm. He wants to seem carefree and fun-loving,
Mm.
but I think he's also very concerned with control
Yeah.
and how he's perceived.
And presentation.
Yeah.
Right.
You-
Okay, so we've got a lot more to unpack here.
Yeah, we're just getting started.
Stay tuned, because we're going to get into day two
Right.
in Budapest when we come back.
Day 2 in Budapest, and what happens? Vale's in the bathroom again.
Of course.
Like clockwork.
every single time.
Simo's losing his patience, but it makes for great content.
It's good TV.
It's good YouTube,
Yeah.
right? And then they stumble upon what Simo calls the Street of Beautiful Tires.
Oh, yeah.
It's car spotting paradise.
I mean, it really is like a visual metaphor for his aspirations.
It's like he's surrounded by all these luxury cars, and it's just like a little glimpse into the life that he might want.
Right. And he knows his audience. He knows that the car enthusiasts are going to be like glued to the screen
Absolutely.
when he's like rattling off all these models, G-Wagon, Maserati, Bentley.
He knows his stuff.
Yeah. And then they go to a museum, which I was a little surprised by.
A little bit of culture.
Yeah, a little bit of culture.
Mm-hmm.
But even in the museum, he finds a way to inject humor.
Of course.
Like when he was talking about the sculptures being surprisingly advanced.
Right.
And then, of course, the obligatory Apple Store visit.
Got to get that tech fix.
Right. Every tech-savvy traveler has been there.
Absolutely.
Right. You're trying to resist the urge to buy a new gadget on vacation.
The struggle is real.
And then their feed search takes a hilarious turn when they're like relying solely on non-fake reviews.
Oh, yeah. Trying to find those authentic reviews.
Which is such a millennial struggle.
It really is.
So then they go to the thermal baths, which are beautiful from the outside.
Yeah.
But then Simo gets inside and he's like, oh my God, there's so many
A
people.
little bit overwhelmed.
He's overwhelmed. He's like a little bit out of his element.
Not quite the relaxing spa day he was hoping for.
Right. And he even notices a drainage issue, which he can't resist pointing out.
Of course not.
Right. And I'm like, Simo, come on.
Let it go.
But it's those little moments that make him so relatable.
Yeah, he's not afraid to show his flaws.
Right. And then they're back on the streets of Budapest, and they keep ending up near the synagogue.
The synagogue again?
It's like it's following them.
Maybe it's a sign.
Or maybe they're just bad at navigating.
Maybe.
Right?
Wait.
But I think it's more than that. I think the synagogue represents something that they're searching for.
Like what?
I don't know, maybe a sense of belonging,
Okay.
a connection to something bigger than themselves.
Interesting.
And then there's the hilarious lesson they get on crossing the street in Budapest.
Oh, yeah, that was classic.
Right. It's a reminder that even the simplest tasks can be an adventure in a foreign country.
Absolutely.
And it also highlights the importance of paying attention, being present in the moment, which is something that Simo himself reflects on later in the trip.
Yeah, he has a moment of realization.
Right. And then they stumble upon another unexpected treasure.
What is it this time?
A paradise for idiots.
A paradise for idiots.
What could that be?
I don't know, but I want to find out.
Right. He builds up the suspense, but he leaves us hanging.
Classic cliffhanger.
Right. Classic YouTube strategy.
Got to keep them coming back for more.
And let's not forget all that impressive car spotting.
Oh, yeah, he was on a roll.
He's like rattling off names like G-Wagon Maserati, McLaren Bentley, C63 AMG, M2 M3.
He could be a car salesman.
I know, right? It's like a car for every day of the week.
Exactly.
But I think it's more than just car envy.
Yeah.
It's a glimpse into his world, a world that might be aspirational, maybe even a little bit out of reach for him right now.
Right.
And then they end the day with a late-night snack at a Four Seasons hotel where Simo spots a potentially new Rolex model that David might be able to afford.
Okay.
So the luxury theme continues.
He's surrounded by it.
Yeah, it's like he's constantly testing his own desires and aspirations.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes you wonder, is he happy with his life?
Right. Does he want something more?
Or is there a part of him that wants something more?
Good question.
So it's like he's playing with this idea of success. What does it mean to him? How does he want to portray it?
Right. Testing the waters. Seeing how people react.
Yeah. And then day 3 rolls around and they're headed to Zantandra.
Okay.
But even the destination is kind of a mystery.
Oh, really?
They're just going with the flow, which is a little out of character for Simo.
Yeah, he's usually such a planner.
Right. And of course, no Simo and Friends adventure would be complete without Vale being late.
Oh, no, not again.
The elevator scene where they're holding the door for him again is hilarious.
I can imagine.
But you can also see the Simos getting a little frustrated.
Yeah. Like, is their friendship really that strong?
Right. Is it all for the vlog?
Or are they really getting annoyed with each other?
Then the train ride to Sant'Andrea Simo's comparing it to Santorini.
Interesting comparison.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But it shows his eye for beauty.
Yeah.
His ability to like find those connections. And then they arrive in Sant'Andrea, this charming little village.
Yeah.
And they try some traditional Hungarian longos.
Nice.
It's a simple moment, but it shows they're willing to like embrace the local culture.
Right. Trying new things.
And then they almost miss their train.
Oh, no.
Talk about a panic attack.
That's stressful.
Right? It's like Simo injected a shot of adrenaline into the
Oh,
video.
yeah. Keep the viewers on the edge of their seats.
Onto the Gellert thermal baths.
Okay.
Simo's reaction to the crowds is priceless. He's so overwhelmed.
Not a fan of crowds.
Not a fan of crowds. He even points out a drainage issue. But even in those moments, he finds humor.
Right. Always looking for the funny side.
Yeah. And then back in Budapest, they keep finding themselves near the synagogue.
Again.
It's like it's calling to them.
Maybe it's a sign.
Maybe
Maybe they're just drawn to it.
And maybe they're just bad at directions. But I think it's more than that. I think the synagogue represents something they're searching for.
Like what?
Maybe a sense of belonging, a connection to something bigger.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
And then there's that hilarious moment where they get a lesson on how to cross the street.
Oh, yeah, that was funny.
Right? It's those little things that remind you you're in a foreign country.
And it shows the importance of being present.
Right. Which is what Simo talks about later in the trip.
Yeah, his final takeaway about separating work and leisure.
It's such an important message, especially these days.
Totally.
Like it's okay to disconnect and just enjoy the moment.
Be present.
Be present. So to our listener who wanted to know what Simo got up to in Budapest,
Yeah,
I hope this deep dive gave you more than just a summary of events.
I think so.
I hope it inspired you to explore not just new destinations, but also new ways of experiencing life.
And maybe like Simo, you'll discover that the greatest souvenirs we bring back from our travels are not the things we buy,
Right.
but the insights we gain, the connections we forge,
The memories.
and the memories.
Because ultimately, travel is about more than just seeing the world.
Yeah,
It's about seeing ourselves reflected in it.
absolutely.